Shortsighted. Shortsighted. Unable to see distant objects clearly. Many junior students have to wear short-sighted glasses for reading. He thinks this is a short-sighted approach to the problem of global warming. Time-consuming. Time-consuming. Using or taking up a great deal of time. Some of the more time-consuming jobs can now be done by machines. We know that these procedures are often time-consuming and laborious. Ill-mannered. Ill-mannered. Lacking or indicating a lack of good manners. I do not know where it was ill-mannered and where it was inaccurate. Some tribal communities are considered ill-mannered and unsophisticated. Self-centered. Self-centered. Only interested in yourself and your own activities. She is very self-centered and always looking for her personal advantage. He is skilled and focused on his goals, but also arrogant and self-centered. All-encompassing. All-encompassing. Including or covering everything or everyone. A model could be so vague and all-encompassing that it can't even be verified. She was moved by all-encompassing influences above, around, and beneath. Accident-prone. Accident-prone. Having or likely to have accidents frequently. That older people are more accident-prone than young children. He is careless about his debts, accident-prone, and prone to disease. Densely populated. Densely populated. With a lot of people living together. Other industrialized and densely populated nations have similar problems. The road follows the Pacific coast through densely populated neighborhoods. Mass-produced. Mass-produced. To produce large numbers of goods. They will be the first mass-produced electric cars to be available in Britain. Unfortunately, it is not an expensive machine to mass-produce if necessary. Eye-opening. Eye-opening. Surprising and teaching new facts about life. This year has been a very eye-opening and educational year for me. Anything that offers insight into the life of an artist is going to be eye-opening. Brand new. Brand new. Completely new, especially not yet used. She told me it was brand new and I was stupid enough to believe her. This concept is brand new. No one has ever tried anything like it before. Long-term. Long-term. Continuing for many years or far into the future. We are seeking a long-term solution through diplomacy and negotiations. The employees are less optimistic about the company's long-term prospects. Short-lived. Short-lived. Living or lasting only a little while. I had a few relationships at college, most of which were fairly short-lived. The happiness derived from materialistic pursuits tends to be short-lived. Kindhearted. Kindhearted. Having a kind and sympathetic nature. Being a kind-hearted woman, she felt sorry for the poor children. The world needs more people who are kind-hearted and compassionate. Strong-willed. Strong-willed. Very determined to do something. Akira is a strong-willed woman with a curiously non-feminine appearance. He was extremely strong-willed and set goals for himself on a regular basis. Readymade. Readymade. Prepared and ready to be used immediately. This snowstorm gave us a ready-made excuse not to go to the picnic. My diet consisted of ready-made meals and lots of cheese and sandwiches. High-spirited. High-spirited. Lively and cheerful in behavior or mood. The high-spirited team practiced diligently for the upcoming competition. The high-spirited group of hikers climbed the mountain with determination. Mouth-watering. Mouth-watering. Having a very delicious taste and appealing smell. The waitress came round with a tray of mouth-watering cream cakes. Then there was plenty of mouth-watering, delicious food on the table. Thick-skinned. Thick-skinned. Does not appear to be easily hurt by criticism. If you're thick-skinned and can endure, it's definitely worth the effort. You need to be thick-skinned if you are going to work in the political sector. Bad-tempered. Bad-tempered. Irritable, easily annoyed about small things. She was wondering why her husband had been so bad-tempered recently. She seems bad-tempered. On the other hand, she's soft-hearted underneath. Eye-catching. Eye-catching. Noticeable because of being unusual or attractive. Cone Peterson is known for his unusual and eye-catching architecture. Her books have just been reissued with eye-catching new covers and prices. Better off. Better off. Being in comfortable economic circumstances. After the breakup, Rachel realized she was better off being on her own. I think that he will be better off without the habit of smoking all the time. Bigheaded. Bigheaded. Sure that you are more important than other people. The constant flattery from his subordinates made him bighead. I don't want to sound big-headed, but I thought my picture was the best. Bloody-minded. Bloody-minded. Difficult to deal with, not willing to help others do things. It's very difficult, and you have to be quite bloody-minded to stick at it. The hostile strike was a battle between two bloody-minded class warriors. Short-tempered. Short-tempered. Becoming angry without any apparent reasons. She has been described as short-tempered, direct, blunt, and impolite. The king was so short-tempered that no one dared tell him the bad news. Ill-bred. Ill-bred. Badly brought up, impolite and crude. Such conduct is not only excessively ill-bred but intensely selfish. The child is ill-bred. He annoys people with both his words and behavior. Last minute. Last minute. The moment just before a decisive event. They made a last-minute decision to change the wedding venue. If you want to avoid the last-minute rush, get your application in today. Bulletproof. Bulletproof. Made from a material that stops bullets. His life was saved by a quarter-inch thick bulletproof steel screen. Bulletproof glass can withstand the tremendous impact of the shot. WellDressed. WellDressed. Wearing attractive or fashionable clothes. We were sitting in the midst of an elegant and well-dressed audience. They were all flamboyant women, very well dressed with lots of jewelry. Duty-free. Duty-free. Without payment of customs duties. Duty-free shopping is already permitted for travelers going to non-EU countries. I almost missed my flight because there was a long queue in the duty-free shop. Absent-minded. Absent-minded. An unintentional wandering of the mind. He is absent-minded and lacking in social graces, but we love him. I took an absent-minded sip from my cup and found the tea was cold. Remote-controlled. Remote-controlled. Controlled or operated from a distance. It is remote-controlled and carries a tiny camera that can send images. Police said that the bomb was detonated in the refugee camp by remote control. Fullscale. Fullscale. Having the exact size or proportions of the original. A full-scale riot was prevented by the timely intervention of the police force. The experimental findings are substantiated by full-scale numerical simulation. Interest-free. Not charging interest on borrowing or credit. Congregations can obtain interest-free loans to help finance their projects. Alternatively, the king could demand an interest-free loan from his subjects. User-friendly. User-friendly. Describe anything easy to learn and use. This is an entirely computer-operated system, which is very user-friendly. This is a user-friendly system suitable for beginners and advanced users alike. Hands-on. Hands-on. Involves you doing something, not just watching. The students spend a week doing classroom work and hands-on training. In many districts, primary pupils now have hands-on experience with computers. Well-planned. Well-planned. Having been carefully thought out in advance. The new system was started using a well-planned and methodical approach. These well-planned open spaces provided recreational areas for all residents. Old-fashioned. Old-fashioned. No longer modern or fashionable. He had an old-fashioned work ethic and believed in putting in long hours. She enjoyed wearing old-fashioned dresses with full skirts and petticoats. Service-oriented. Service-oriented. A way of integrating and dynamic business processes. This should make the system safer, sounder, and more service-oriented. Service-oriented people focus on anticipating and meeting people's needs. Well-balanced. Well-balanced. Nicely or evenly balanced, arranged, or regulated. A well-balanced diet will usually supply enough vitamin C to prevent scurvy. You need to eat a well-balanced diet high in protein and complex carbohydrates. Quickwitted. Quickwitted. Intelligent and good at thinking quickly. The young girl was quick-witted and had an extraordinarily agile mind. In many cases here, we are dealing with extremely quick-witted people. Well-educated. Well-educated. With lots of knowledge about many subjects. Work shyness clearly exists among students from well-educated families. This particular group was characterized as being well-educated and liberal. Highly respected. Highly respected. Admired and approved of by many people. She is a very able prosecutor. She is highly respected and independent. One common Chinese notion is that the elders ought to be highly respected. Record-breaking. Record-breaking. Surpassing any previously established record. A record-breaking 500,000 people attended the festival. He went on to a record-breaking 7 consecutive Tour de France wins. Longlasting. Longlasting. Enduring or existing for a long period. Even minor head injuries can cause long-lasting psychological effects. All this can have profound and long-lasting effects on the local ecosystem. Short-term. Short-term. Describe things that will last for a short time. This is a cynical manipulation of the situation for short-term political gain. These are applied methods that will make a big difference in the short term. High quality. High quality. Adhering to an excellent standard of measure. We have always found them to be a consistent, high-quality supplier. You enjoy working with fresh ingredients to create high-quality products. Long forgotten. Long forgotten. Belonging to the past, no longer remembered. This incident vividly brought back emotions I had long forgotten. They are almost casual references to long-forgotten massacres of our past. Slow-moving. Slow-moving. Showing little progress or activity. The recording sessions continued to be slow-moving and heavily technical. These little creatures live in slow-moving rivers during their breeding phase. Never-ending. Never-ending. Having or seeming to have no end. Keeping the house neat and clean is a never-ending battle for everybody. If you don't know where you're going, then the journey is never-ending. Forward-thinking. Forward-thinking. Thinking about and planning for the future. This has been a forward-thinking, innovative approach to diplomacy. Forward-thinking people recognize the problems and respond accordingly. Far-reaching. Far-reaching. Having important and widely applicable effects. The economy is in danger unless far-reaching reforms are implemented. These new laws will have far-reaching benefits for all working mothers. World famous. World famous. Known by people all over the world. He was the builder of world-famous and beautiful city called Baghdad. Venice is world-famous, and you can still see the grandeur of the city. Full length. Full length. Showing or adapting to the entire length. First of all, students had to read a full-length text in the first semester. This text is a rare example of a full-length report of such a complex study. Longanticipated. Longanticipated. Having been expected for a long time. Humans achieved the long-anticipated goal of actually landing on the moon. The long-anticipate reform will create even more problems than it seeks to solve. Widely recognized. Widely recognized. Formally acknowledged or accepted as valid. It is widely recognized that human errors cannot be avoided fully. Mercury pollution has been recognized as a global problem by many experts. Much needed. Much needed. Something you really want. Very necessary. This amendment would also give a much-needed boost to strategic planning. The government announced a much-needed program of economic reform. Nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking. Causing a person to feel very nervous. My wedding was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever experienced. Working under the glare of the camera was both nerve-wracking and fun. Cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. Animals, such as reptiles, fishes, and amphibians. Cold-blooded animals depend on the temperature of their environment. Cold-blooded insects pose different conservation problems in new settings. Long-standing. Long-standing. Having existed or continued for a long time. The county has a long-standing policy of reselling confiscated weapons. They are on the brink of resolving their long-standing dispute over money. Blue collar. Blue collar. Relating to people who do physical work. The company hopes to reduce back injuries among its blue-collar workers. They are members of the working class and blue-collar small business owners. Sought after. Sought after. Wanted by many people and hard to get or find. Morris is now one of the most sought-after choreographers in the world. Products from abroad, especially from the United States, were sought after. Thought-provoking. Thought-provoking. Causing people to think seriously about something. This thought-provoking book raises more questions than it answers. The volume as a whole is thought-provoking and requires careful analysis. Hardworking. Hardworking. Putting a lot of effort into work. In the film, she was cast as a hardworking, upright, middle-aged woman. His previous employer describes him as honest, hardworking, and diligent. Deeply rooted. Deeply rooted. Existing for a long time and difficult to change. It is extremely difficult to eradicate prejudices so deeply rooted and natural. The custom of sending a greeting in a card had become a deep-rooted tradition. Good-looking. Good-looking. Having a pleasing or attractive appearance. We all agree that he was not only good-looking but kind and well-bred. Here, nearly all the riders were young, good-looking, and in fantastic shape. Full-fledged. Full-fledged. Completely developed or trained. The doctor told his patient that he had a full-fledged case of the flu. Even now, during a full-fledged crisis, he has managed to retain his business.